What's up, guys? Welcome back to Beardman Reviews. Now, I know I said that I wouldn't be making a music review for some time, but I'm doing one now. I'm sorry, but when I listened to this album, self-titled by Bullet for My Valentine, I knew that I had to. Because if I'm being perfectly honest, this is one of those bands that I was never fully into. I never fully got them. I just wasn't really a fan of them, honestly. I really, truly wasn't a big fan of them. I just, like, I felt like they wanted to commit uh, to the really, really, like a chunky side of them, but they never really did. Like their older stuff was like like much more, but like I was like I honestly just don't really care for them, so I wasn't too excited for this album. I really wasn't excited at all. Then I heard the single Knives, which I believe was either their first or second. I think it was their second a single, and I was like, holy crap! Like okay, like they're actually committing to that side again, and so I was really excited about it. Um, and yeah, so like I'm happy to say that this album pretty much meets every expectation I have. There's a lot of screams on this album, like like definitely more screams than they've ever had, by far. And like I love Matt's screams. Um, Although like I will say after like a while, his he really only has one tone, and that really high pitched tone kind of gets a little bit old after some time. But having said that, like it's still a great tone, and they have a way of mixing really really thunderous, chunky, heavy, meaty riffs, and just unbelievably great like a 30 or sorry like a 16th note a double bass is drumming like really fast stuff of and like they mix that those sort of really heavy instrumental passages uh, uh, in with Matt's screams, that his screams never really got old to me, but I love the way that Matt mixes his singing voice and his screams on the album. It never it never feels a cookie cutter. Like most modern metalcore bands, and As I Laid Dying and all that remains are pretty cookie cutter. Scream sing, scream sing, and this album gets like that just for a little bit, but it really isn't like that for every single flippin' song, which I really liked. Uh, I also I also really enjoyed the variety on the album. Like the first four songs like that being uh, Parasite, Knives. There's I forgot the third song. I'm sorry, and Never Happy Ever After. Those four songs are just so heavy and thunderous, and they're they are four of the heaviest songs that they've ever made. And then they take a drastic turn with with never with I can't escape the waves. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I didn't really get into this song. Like it's okay, it's okay. It just feels like regular like radio rock set dial stuff. Which is what most of their modern stuff is like so it's very clear to me that it's very clear to me that Bullet for My Valentine don't want to lose that side of them. They still want to make songs that will keep them in the mainstream, like which is awesome. Handling that for them. But I've said it just doesn't really. It personally doesn't really work for me. But that's okay. Then the next song is kind of the same way. When it starts out really a chunky and a, a chuggy it starts out as if it's uh, going somewhere, but then just kind of falls flat again, and it's again, it's not really my style, uh, per se, uh, and the same could be said for the following song, Rainbow Veins, but I just love the very heavy atmosphere that this album or sorry that this song presents, and I love Matt's singing on this song, and when it builds up and up and up to that final screamed passage towards the end. That's just a really awesome moment, and to me. Um, uh, then things I kick back in majorly right after Rainbow Veins, and they stay that way clear up until the end. And so I really enjoy the fact that this album uh, isn't just very cookie cutter. It's very uh, diverse. Honestly, though, not one song sounds like the other, and that's one thing that I thought was really awesome. Um, uh, Overall, this is a great album. I it kind of lost me a little bit, in the center, but uh, then from Rainbow Veins on, it grabbed my attention once more, and I love this album. I shouldn't say I love. I'm sorry. I really like this album. It definitely shocked me. I Knowing how they are, I hope that they make another album with this similar style, but I'm not expecting it, honestly. I'm expecting their next album to be more of a traditional album for them. But I love this album. Or sorry, I really like this album. It's very solid. Again, guys, it shocked me, honestly. I wasn't expecting much from them, and then I heard Knives when they released that single, and it and my hype was actually fairly high, and it honestly met every expectation. I if I were to rate this album, I would rate it in 8 out of 10. It's it's very solid. But I was left kind of uh, kind of disappointed. Like there in the center with I Can't Escape the Waves and Bastards. Those two songs just kind of left me feeling a little bit like okay, like like let's move on, and like they very quickly did, which I enjoyed. So yeah, guys, a self-titled album by Bullet for My Valentine, 8 out of 10. Thank you guys so much. See ya.